saw the title. Let's get into it. In order to turn this Dremel into a marble shooting machine gun, my mind immediately went to a pitching machine. Okay, so there's two types of pitching machines. First up is the standard one, which everyone's seen, which is a 2-wheel pitching machine. It has 2 wheels, you take the ball and you feed it through the, that's a dick. Never mind, moving on. So since I only own one Dremel, we're gonna go with the single-wheeled pitching machine, which is this right here. Same concept, but only one wheel. Drop the ball in, it hits a spinning wheel, this is the wheel, launches the ball out. That's gonna translate into these two drawings. So we have a Dremel mounted to a board onto another board with a 3D printed barrel that's gonna feed into a 90, that's gonna let the marbles come down and then feed it across the spinning wheel. Design of the barrel shouldn't be that big of a deal, but for the Dremel, I'm gonna see if there's something on printables or something like that for a Dremel mount.
While looking for a mounting bracket for the Dremel, I found this model for a routing table that will just be perfect for what we're doing. I actually got so excited about it that I forgot to record everything printing. I took this to the garage because that's where all my tools are, and I honestly don't know what to expect power-wise from this. Once I get everything put together, I screw it to a piece of scrap wood I had, and it's time to fit the barrel around the wheel. I start by filing out a spot for the wheel to go and to still keep pressure on the marble. It left a lump inside the barrel, so I try to clear that out, and the barrel breaks.
No!
As I contemplate my life choices, I realize I have a Dremel. They're literally made to sand stuff. So I tried that out, and it shows me I have a lot to learn working with 3D prints because it melts the edges, but the clearance on it looks good.
You ready?
Okay, maybe not as good as I thought it was. It launches the barrel out of my hands. I try to cut it open a bit with some snips and finally launch a couple marbles. And it seems really weak, so I go to open up the barrel slot some more and it breaks again. So I'm just going to put the slot in through the model and print a new one. While I was trying to figure out the best size slot to remove from the breech of the barrel, I realized that it was probably weak because it wasn't getting enough of a contact patch between the wheel and the marble. With the size difference, I had two options. I could try to find a bigger wheel, or I could use a smaller marble. So I ordered some smaller barren balls off of Amazon. With that out of the way, it's on to the feed system. I start with a 90 and ran into a few issues. The main one being it won't hold its shape without support, and there's no way I can get those out from the inside of the pipe. I did try to print it without the supports, but it just didn't work out. It didn't hold its shape, and the ball bearing got stuck. My solution to this was to make a double-sided block with the 90 carved out in the middle, as well as spots for the barrel on both ends. After a lot of failed designs, the final feed system's ready to be tested. It's time to figure out exactly where to put this thing on the platform. I also angled that platform up a little bit just because that's how a pitching machine is. And I just grabbed a 3D printed clamp to hold everything in place. I also made a marble catcher so things won't be flying all over the room when I shoot this off. Let's start with a single shot test. Well, nothing exploded or broke, so we're off to a great start. Let's fill it up all the way. That clamp isn't really holding that well, and you can see it jump, so we're losing that mechanical pressure, so they just spill out instead of shooting. I'm just going to reload it and hold it by hand, see what happens. I ran out to the store for some super glue since holding it is helping, but it still slips some, and par for the course, I can't use most of the glue since the tip broke. I swear, even the simple things I just try to do somehow become difficult. But either way, while I'm gluing this, let's talk about the project so far. I am actually impressed with the rate of fire. You might not be able to see it even in the slow mode, but it's shooting 16, 17 bearings in a split second, so that's just neat. It doesn't have much in the way of power. I think it'll have a little bit more when this glue sets, but I don't really expect much since it doesn't even punch through a 3D printed net, but I'm fine with that because this is just a bit of dumb fun. The glue is set up, and here's the finished thing. I try to take some cool looking B-roll, and I'm new. It shows. Leave me alone. Gonna do a quick test fire and see how it goes. And it seems to be a lot more responsive than it was before.
Like I said, my expectations, they're pretty low, but I'm still gonna take this into the next room and see if I can put this through a piece of cardboard.
Well, that's about what I expected. It just put a dent in the cardboard. Nothing too crazy.
So I had a lot of fun with this one. I learned some new CAD skills, and honestly, it was just dumb fun. But if anyone knows a way to make this better, let me know down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.